Welcome, one and all, to Modern Thoughts. Yeah, Modern Thoughts so awesome. Yeah. What is Modern Thoughts? Pretty self-explanatory. Pretty much, I go back to an episode from a season I reviewed, and I just re-review the episode. I rewatch it, like I rewatched this episode literally just now, literally right before recording this. And I pretty much give my newer takes on it, my fresher perspective. The one thing that'll make the series different, though, is that's 100% dependent on you people to keep it going, because I'm not just going to randomly choose episodes again. The whole pretty much, if you think I should have done a better job talking about a specific episode from the past, you can recommend it in the comments of any video, pretty much. And I'll just do a more thoughts on it. I mean, it's usually only gonna be like one episode, so it's not like it's gonna be like a massive hassle for me to rewatch it. And I was honestly pretty shocked to see that the first one was like a Solar Opposites one, considering that in the current poll, Solar Opposites season 2 has like 0 votes. I mean, to be fair, there's only like 2 voters, but still, that's still shocking to me. People must really not want. It's weird. It's a shame I haven't talked about Solar Opposites much on the channel beyond that season 1 review, because I do really like Solar Opposites. It's one of those shows that it's kind of like Cuphead show, only specifically for the fact that they're both shows I remember I grew up with as a kid, mostly in the way that their shows actually like kept up with the new episodes. Well, Cuphead show kind of just ended. As I mentioned in my Solar Opposites season 1 review, I stopped watching the show after like the first few episodes of season 4. Not because I thought the show was getting worse. I remember liking season 4 from what I saw, but by that point I was getting really bad at watching seasons of shows, so it was really just more of a me thing. But I am glad I at least get an opportunity to talk about the show again for now, even if it is only one specific episode that I've already reviewed. Also note, I didn't, even more so than my regular videos, these aren't really scripted. I didn't rewrite notes. I didn't even look back on the old notes I wrote. This is because I don't want to let my older opinion, like, other than me rewatching my own segment from the review, I didn't really go back into the past that much with my research on this one. And boy, can I quickly vent about how that original review was. I spent so much time in general. I watched like the first little bit of it through like to my review of episode 2, and I spent way too much time just trying to explain other stuff instead of just talking about the dang episode already. How are you even supposed to know what the episode was about from those stupid reviews? At least now with this series, you get a chance to hear a better Z-Man. Like, that was like a season 1 Z-Man. This is like a more modern season Z-Man. Here to give you my takes. Okay, so since I have more time and this is the only episode I'm talking about it, I'm able to give another benefit to Modern Thoughts is that I'll be able to have a way more you'll get more real, deep, in detail thoughts on the episode. Unstable Gray Hole, at the end of the day, has 3 core plot lines: an A, B, and C storyline. I'm actually going to be going in reverse order. I'm going to be starting with the C plot first, as obviously, I think I want to go through the smallest to biggest plot because the smallest is the least to talk about and will be the easiest to talk about. So in that initial review, if you may recall, I pretty much said I really didn't like the Pupa stuff. I said I'd barely talk about it, and then I proceeded to have like a whole 50-hour thing on it on that video. Again, it was stupid. So I'm gonna say a little bit about the Pupa plot, but also I still don't like it. I forgot even forgot this Pupa plot was a thing. I remembered he had a plotline in this episode, but I forgot what it was even about. And rewatching it, yeah, it's not that good. It feels like the whole purpose of I'm not even going to talk about what happens, because you know what? It doesn't matter. Point blank, it doesn't matter. It's filler. I honestly do agree with my older self in that regard, and that the whole plot honestly felt like a filler plot to like, give the episode a bit more, a few minutes of runtime, because they had nothing better to do. Well, and that stinks really. I don't think you should need filler for a 22-minute TV episode. That's stupid. And because whenever it's barely even in the episode though, so I can't be too harsh on it. But it also makes me think, just like, what's the point? I guess to maybe try to flesh the pupa out, since he didn't really do anything in episode one. So I guess letting him do something in this episode could help. But man, that does not make me like the pupa anymore as a character. And heck, a part of me even thought while watching the episode, like maybe they weren't even trying to make it like a storyline. Maybe it's supposed to be like a joke, since the whole point at the end it's revealed the whole point of it is to bring back like a joke from the beginning of the episode. But the problem is I didn't find it funny. So all of that stuff just failed for me. So yeah, point blank, pupil plot didn't do much for me, and I thought it was pretty mid. Let's move on to the kids plot, the B plot with Yumulak and Jesse. Pretty much, Yumulak is shrinking people down into his wall, and Jesse wants to encourage him to be nicer to humans. I'll admit though, this plot I also didn't like back then and still don't like now. It's okay enough. It's a it's a basic little tale of, oh yeah, Jesse wants to teach Yumulak about being nicer to humans, but in the end, Jesse learns that some humans are just jerks, which I think is a lesson we all have to learn, unfortunately enough. I just don't think it was really that funny or engaging, because I really just it's difficult to explain other than it really just didn't grab me personally. I wasn't that invested. It had like a few good jokes, like when Jesse's talking to Yumi, like, see, all you need to do is like he was a jerk, but I need to talk to him, and the gym teacher just randomly pops on like, yeah, that's true, that's what happened. And I also liked like a Yumi like suit being on autopilot. I thought that was a good little moment. I don't typically like overly gory stuff. It's stuff that's overly gory or overly like actiony isn't usually my thing, but this was like a rare exception because it was a cool little scene. Probably because of the music in the background helped make it a little funny. So already, I think the core issue with this episode is that obviously I already talked about two of the plot lines, but I don't like to. If your episode has three storylines, as already mentioned, but I don't like two of the three storylines, that means I really only enjoyed the A story, which yeah, it's the A story, so it gets the most amount of time. But that means whenever the episode cuts away to something else, chances are I don't like it. Which stinks because that makes the episode like way worse. Hell, I'm gonna be real. When I looked back on my old video and saw that this was at number 7 out of the 8 episode season that was Solar Opposite season 1, at first I was shocked. Because I remembered liking this one. Like, really, this was a good episode. Is it really that low? But now I rewatched it and also remembered just how freaking goated season 1 was in general, and it was like, yeah, okay, it's starting to make sense now. Because, well, the main A plot with Terry and Corvo trying to get everyone in the neighborhood to like them, and then eventually to try to run to be the homeowners association, it's good, but it's not like a specific standout. And with me already not being the biggest fan of the B and C plot, yeah, it's gonna end up near the bottom of the list. So honestly, good job, past Z-Man, for making that choice. You made the right move putting this episode where you did. But I'll talk more about that A story since it is the main reason it's pretty much the only reason I'd recommend watching this episode. The A plot is good. I feel like I was a little bit incorrect in my old review when I said it only gets good when like everyone starts liking them. I think it was a little bit good before that, when pretty much when it gets to Terry and Corvo trying to help everyone in town, I think that's when it starts to pick up from all right to genuinely a funny story. In fact, I think them trying to help the neighborhood ended up leading to like some of the funniest moments. Like how Corvo just brings this guy's son back just casually, like, oh yeah, there you go, no problem. And then like also the guy getting the robot legs, but then they end up inadvertently killing him. That's some good, like, Justin Roiland styled humor right there. That's some good stuff. I that it gives me, like, the energy of, like, Rick and Morty in the first 2 seasons, when I actually liked that show. Well, so it is good, and heck, even when it turns into, like, the nanobots coming to alive, I still liked all that stuff. It was fun. Again, in many ways, Solar Opposites kind of reminds me of, like, the first season of Family Guy, and that's clearly trying to, like, mock, like, sitcom plots. Yeah, you think this I feel like in any other show, this would be a way more basic episode about, like, the main character trying to run for the homeowners association and not being pleased by being, like, the outsiders. But the fact that the people experiencing this are just 2 aliens makes it funnier. Also, we do not talk about the fact that Corvo wants to do things with bodies from the cemetery. We don't talk about that scene. Also, one more random funny moment I wanna bring up. You gotta love how there's, like, a joke in here about, like, acknowledging you're watching this on Hulu, but, ever since I made that original video, I watched this episode on Netflix because Netflix doesn't have ads, and if when I ever eventually get around to season 2 and on, if it's still on there, I'll totally just keep watching the show on Netflix, 'cause of the lack of ads, so, yeah, that was kind of a funny little jarring moment. I bet the writers had no idea the show was going to be on Netflix, so it's a funny little thing that ended up happening. Overall, my new takeaway from the Unstable Gray Hole is that it is a good episode, and while I definitely didn't review it the best when I made that old video, I honestly still agree with a lot of the points I was at least attempting to make back when I was a less competent reviewer. I like I like the main story with Terry and Corvo. It's not anything special though, especially since it is only episode 2 of the overall series. So you're really still trying to get a feel for everything. And I bet that's how the writers were too. Hence why, yeah, it's one of the weaker episodes, but like it's still a good episode, and it's still only episode 2. Obviously, we need a little bit of time to get more into a groove. I just wish the B and C stories, especially that C story, that part felt so fillery. I wish they were a bit better. I wish they were funnier. I wish they were made better. This is not an episode created equal. Oh yeah, and I guess there's one thing that I really should talk about this episode. One thing I think I'm pretty confident I neglected to mention in my original review. That's right, the joke of that human guy Terry hanged out with it, just offering Terry and Corvo heroin. That joke sucks. I always hated it. It really shows me why I can hate adult animated comedy sometimes. They really do just think, "Oh yeah, this is an edgy thing adults do, so it's animated, people are gonna love it." And it's like, "No, dude, shut up. I don't care." Okay, I wasn't joking about me hating that joke, but what I actually meant to say was like towards the end, we really get the first sneak peek at the wall. We got a teaser at the end of episode 1, if I remember correctly, which I do. I do remember correctly. But not for real. At the end of episode 2, we get like more of a real showcase of what the wall will truly be. Will truly then be showcased the next episode when they start making the wall like get a lot of the side stories. And yeah, it's pretty good. In general, I hate how when people talk about solar opposites, they always have to talk about how awesome the wall is, and then and then pretty much neglect the rest of the show. Even though, well, yeah, the wall is a really great side plot, and I still agree that the episode is exclusively about the wall is still the best episode of season 1. It's like, bro, there's more to solar opposites than just the wall. Shut up about it for like 2 seconds. Acknowledge how great the rest of the show is. This is turning into a completely different type of review. All you gotta know is that for now, as a fun little, like, pretty much a little bit of a mini showcase of what the wall will end up being for the rest of the season, that ending scene works, especially since you're not expecting it. So yeah, overall, honestly, thank you to the person that recommended I should retackle this episode. I had a blast rewatching a Solar Opposites episode, and really getting me to think about the show again after so long. I do hope that by the time the next adult animated poll swings around, Solar Opposite Season 2 will at least get some sort of attention in the polls, because I do think it is I do think it's an underrated series. Not like Aqua Teen Hunger Force or American Dad levels underrated, but still a show that I think deserves to be talked about far more than it actually does. And with that, Zima reviews out. After the brief reminder that again, please, if you're going to, please comment down below more episodes from seasons I've already reviewed. What specific episodes you would love for me to retackle? Because I actually had a big blast revisiting something I already reviewed, but trying to give a fresher take on it. With that, Z-Man out. Wait a second. It's an unstable gray hole!